You want to know how Whispersoft came to be? How we got here? It all started senior year. And I was told to use the snowflake method. I had a class, and they wanted me to give an example of a system, and then to use that system for a senior project. I chose the snowflake method for writing. And then I proceeded to map out the first draft of this apocalypse theory. And then I slowly worked on it, but I got a job in construction. And I had to go out of town. I was away from home. Away from all my friends. And I was with people not my age. And it was hard. Manual labor. I just wanted to be with my friends. So I knew I had to get out of there. But I didn't know how. So I began going after this book in earnest. And starting in 2006, when I graduated high school, till about 2010, little by little, page by page, I completed this. And I didn't know how to publish. So I went to kind of a scam publisher. They literally still call me every day, at least once or twice a week, asking if I want to go on a radio show and other fabricated things. I just pay them hundreds of dollars. So then, these are the rough drafts of these books, so these are no good anymore. This one is just a pile of, I have like 30 of these. But, so then, I wrote this book. And this is the rough draft. This isn't the cover for it, because the spacing's too wide. This book I published myself. So experimental cover, experimental pages. Long lost book. And I didn't know why apocalypse theory wasn't selling, so my next attempt was a thought experiment. So with this book, I basically went through Twilight, because that's what was popular in like 2010. And every chapter of this book, I read Twilight, and I tried to rewrite each chapter of Twilight in this book. Kind of like 50 Shades of Grey a little bit. How it's a completely different story, but it's still, this one's about like superhuman teenagers. And spent forever writing this book. It's a rewrite. And this one ended up selling like 7 copies a month for a while, which was really cool to be selling something. But it never sold enough to write the New Moon copy. Which is alright. So fast forward, I wrote a zombie novel. And that one was like, it was around the time just before The Walking Dead came out. And it was on the front page, Hurricane Dan was on the front page of Amazon for under zombies. And it was actually, at one point for like a month, it was making $300 a week. And I remember thinking, I was just so blown away by that. I was like, oh my gosh, I could actually do this. But after 1 month, it faded, fell off the front page. But for that time, it was my most successful moment as an author, as far as sales. So off of that book, I had an idea. I was so hyped up that I went, packed a lunch. I had some time off work. I was home. I'd be home for chunks of time and on the road for chunks of time. I was home, so I packed a lunch. I went to the library every day with my packed lunch, and I wrote this, Takedown. And this book got nominated into the Florida Teens Read Committee, except for one thing. When the day came for it to finally be announced in the 2015 Teens Read Committee, it wasn't in there. And I was too chicken to ask why. I was just grateful for the time because they thought it was a really great book and nominated it, which is awesome. It's about that time that I had an idea. To help market this book, I was gonna start a YouTube channel. And I had meant to since 2010, but I didn't know what to do on YouTube. And so I kind of toiled with things, messed around with little videos here and there, but I never really knew. And in 2012 or 13-ish, I discovered ASMR. I discovered the feeling. And so I started using ASMR for sleep and for the tingles and all this stuff. And so 2 or 3 years later, I thought, I could do this. I know about ASMR. I've been watching it for years. I could do what these people are doing. So in 2015, around the release of this book, I started Whispersoft. And I thought, maybe I could tell people about this book on Whispersoft, and then that would help the sales, and it would be kind of the commercial end of the authorship. So I published this book, and I moved on, and I published more books over the years. Whispersoft slowly grew. over the years, I told about the books, but it never really turned out to sell very many books through Whispersoft. But I got better at ASMR, better at YouTube, better at knowing what to do, how to make a better video, all the things you need to know in both ASMR and YouTube. I kept writing, but these are the only books I had that are the sample versions. I don't want to, like, I only have one copy of Hurricane Dan in the house. I don't want to cover that in motion and massage it to pieces. I have a bunch of these, and that's not the official Sapiens cover. So then over the next 5 years, Whispersoft grew. And then when the Jared Leto Joker was announced, I dressed up as him and did a ASMR video. And that was probably the first big success on the channel. And then in 2018, the Deadpool, I think Deadpool 2 was coming out. So I dressed up as Deadpool and did my best Ryan Reynolds impersonation. And that was the second real success, and it was way bigger. And then for the next 2 or 3 years, the Deadpool craze kind of faded, and every Deadpool video I would do was less successful. I released another book. I think that was The Great Influencer. I rewrote The Great Gatsby to be YouTubers and TikTokers. And then something happened in 2020 is after Deadpool was dying down and everything, the channel really seemed to pick up. And I think I really started taking it more seriously and putting a lot more effort. Not that I wasn't putting effort in, but full time. Going from spending an hour, maybe 2 hours a week to 10 hours, 20. And now maybe I put 25, 30, maybe even 40 hours some weeks. And the channel has gone way more successful than the novels at this point. I actually do Whispersoft full time at the moment. And I still write every morning with my coffee. I'm working on another novel. I published another novel after The Great Influencer, but I put it on Kindle Vila. And once that's all on Kindle Vila, I'll put it into another novel one of these days. And Whispersoft has become, I think in the last year, it's about a year ago, maybe last fall, I crossed the 100,000 subscriber mark. Now I'm about to pass the 200,000, which is insane. Thank you guys. It's crazy. I hope these videos bring you a lot of entertainment, because though the novels didn't get me out of that construction and going on the road, the novels got me to YouTube. Eventually, YouTube got me out of going on the road. And I am grateful for that. So I hope you enjoy these videos. And if you've read any of these novels, I hope you enjoy them. This is the one I like to tell people the most because it's the one people seem to like the most. I almost wish I would have published it different because I think with any mainstream help, I really believe this book would have taken off. But it was just kind of hidden in a corner. I just put it silently on the internet, and somehow it still found its way into the Florida Teens Read, which is amazing. But this last year on YouTube's been a wild ride. To be honest, these last 10 years have been a wild ride. But aren't they always? Here's to many more novels and many more ASMR videos. See you guys later.